Imagine, just for a second, that you suddenly realize something completely reality breaking. Like, imagine discovering that all the heavy, exhausting stress sitting on your shoulders right now, well, it's actually part of an incredibly immersive movie.
Right. A movie.
Yeah, and all the fleeting joys you look forward to on the weekend, and even, the daily news cycle that constantly gives you a headache, all of it is a movie that you personally wrote. You directed it, and you're currently starring in it.
Oh, wow.
But the kicker is this, you just got so deeply into characters, so utterly absorbed in the drama, that you completely forgot you were the director in the first place.
I mean, it is a terrifying thought when you first encounter it, right?
Yeah,
But the freedom hidden inside that realization is just massive.
totally.
When you suddenly recognize that you are the sole person responsible for the entire production, I mean, the whole crew, the whole script, it completely shatters our conventional understanding of what we call reality.
It really does.
You move from being a helpless victim of circumstance to, well, the architect of your own experience.
Yeah. And that transition, from victim to architect, that is exactly the mission of our deep dive today. We're exploring a really dense but super fascinating piece of source material provided by the Australian Buddha Deeds Association.
It's credible stuff.
Yeah, it features main speaker Benny and Dharma Master Ivy, and it was beautifully compiled and produced by Notebook Alm. They are digging into an ancient document called 30 Sinyan.
Which is pretty profound.
Very. For a little context, this is a profound text, often chanted or studied to guide the mind toward peace, and historically it's even used during memorial services. But today, we're extracting its core cognitive tools.
Yeah, we are going to strip away the historical jargon to reveal the bottom layer algorithm of how our own minds constantly deceive us.
Right.
We're looking at why we are so incredibly quick to blame other people for our pain, and most importantly, how we can regain ultimate system administrator privileges over our own reality.
System admin privileges. I love that framing.
It fits perfectly. The text offers a very literal, mechanical breakdown of how human suffering is generated and, how it can be shut down.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if we have this latent power, how did we get so hopelessly lost in the woods in the first place? I mean, the source material starts with a baseline metaphor to describe the pure nature of the mind before all the confusion sets in.
Hi, the cinema metaphor.
Yeah, picture a flawless, pure white movie screen in a cinema before the projector turns on.
The screen itself is a perfect blank slate. It doesn't inherently contain majestic mountains or bustling cities or dramatic romances. It is just a screen.
It's completely empty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it is so pure and flawless, it has an infinite capacity to display all of those things the exact moment light hits it. It provides the necessary space for the story to exist without ever actually becoming the story itself.
Wait, meaning the screen itself doesn't change?
Exactly. The screen is never burned by a movie about a fire, and it never gets wet during a movie about a flood.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So if we start with this perfect, peaceful blank screen that basically can't be harmed, how do we end up so stressed out? The material uses the phrase, delusion entering the mind.
Yeah, the text references a famous philosophical story to illustrate this mechanism. It's the story of a man named Yajnadatta.
Okay, Yashnadatta.
Right. So he wakes up one morning, looks in a mirror, and due to a bizarre optical illusion or a trick of the light, he suddenly believes that his physical head is missing.
Wait, really, his head?
Yes, his head. He looks at his reflection, cannot see his head from his own eye's perspective, and his mind just glitches. He concludes his head is gone.
And so what does he do?
He spirals into absolute unadulterated panic. He runs out into the street screaming, exhausting himself, desperately searching everywhere for his missing head.
Oh, wow, so he's fully acting on this fake premise.
Completely. All of this intense physical exertion, all this terror, is based on a premise that is 100% false. His head is resting perfectly on his shoulders the entire time.
Right, of course.
But because he believed the illusion, the suffering he experienced was entirely real.
That is so crazy. And we laugh at Yashnadatta, right? But we do the exact same thing every single day.
Oh, all the time.
We perceive a slight against our ego, a weird look from a stranger or an unreturned text message, and our mind creates this catastrophic illusion.
Right, we panic.
Yeah, we run around exhausting ourselves trying to fix a problem that only exists in our own distorted perception. The physiological response is identical to real physical danger.
It translates so perfectly to the experience of playing a cutting-edge VR survival horror game.
Yes, exactly. You put the headset on, and intellectually, you know the monsters chasing you are just pixels.
Right, just code.
Yeah, they are lines of code rendering on a screen mere inches from your eyes. They're physically incapable of harming your actual body. But, the graphics are so good, the sound design is so immersive that you basically take a tube of super glue and permanently glue the VR headset to your face.
You completely forget the living room exists.
You do. Your brain genuinely thinks the pixel monster is a real physical threat.
And the physical toll of that mental illusion is immediate.
Hmm.
Your body responds as if the threat is completely real.
Yeah, your heart rate spikes to like 180 beats per minute. You're sweating profusely. Your nervous system is in full fight or flight mode. And when you physically run away in your living room and smash your knee into the coffee table, you get a real dark purple bruise.
Exactly.
You pay a very real physiological price for an entirely fake premise. The monster never touched you, but your belief in the monster physically hurt you.
The fundamental flaw in our mental operating system is that the exact moment we boot it up, we get amnesia.
We just forget.
We become the director who writes a tragic soap opera, casts ourselves as the suffering protagonist, and then sits there weeping at the sheer unfairness of our own script.
That is so true. We forget we are the ones who put the headset on in the first place. We forget we're the ones who wrote the code. So, okay, if our reality is just a VR game or a movie playing on a screen, what exactly is this screen? Like, if we're talking about the hardware running the simulation, we really need to understand how powerful it is.
Well, the source approaches this through a concept called the interreflection of object in mind.
The interreflection of object in mind, okay.
Yeah, Benny, the main speaker in the audio, he scales this up to a cosmic level to basically shatter our human arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine your mind's true nature as a boundless, infinite cosmic mirror.
Infinite mirror, got it.
To give you a sense of scale, compared to the vastness of this mirror, our entire Milky Way galaxy is just a microscopic speck of dust floating in the void.
Wait, really? A speck of dust. So the project I'm stressing about at work or the traffic jam I was stuck in this morning, I mean, it barely registers on the scale of this hardware.
It is entirely subatomic.
Oh!
The text uses a specific phrase to describe this mirror. It says pure light, pure nature. But we have to be very careful with the word pure here because in Western contexts, we usually equate pure with, good, beautiful, or holy.
Right.
But in this context, pure does not mean it only displays happy, pleasant things.
So it's not just a highlight reel of cute puppies and beautiful sunsets.
Definitely not. Pure means the mirror is absolutely neutral. It is completely unbiased. It refuses nothing.
Nothing at all.
Whatever you place in front of it, it reflects perfectly without a single ounce of judgment. It doesn't prefer a rose over a pile of garbage. It just reflects.
So if we translate this into a modern tech analogy to really ground it for a second, the mind is essentially a top-tier, impossibly powerful computing engine. The screen is the flawless monitor, and the mind's pure nature is the ultimate graphics card.
I like that.
Right. It has infinite resolution and infinite processing power. Our daily encounters, our thoughts, our actions, that is the data being fed into the system. As long as data is input, this graphics card renders it flawlessly on the monitor without any opinion on whether the data is a comedy or a tragedy.
The monitor simply displays. The graphics card simply renders. The hardware itself has no moral stance.
Okay, wait, hold on. If I'm putting myself in the listener's shoes right now, I have a major logical problem with this.
Go for it.
If my mind is this infinitely powerful, completely unbiased graphics card, why on earth did it render such a terrible day for me today? I mean, why did it render a morning commute full of gridlock traffic, an angry boss yelling about a deadline, and a bank statement that makes my stomach drop?
That's the big question.
Yeah, like if the hardware is so neutral and powerful, why didn't it render a luxury beach house, a gentle ocean breeze, and a cold drink in my hand? Why is my mind forcing me to watch a horror movie?
What's fascinating here is that the source material anticipates this exact frustration. The answer lies in a 6-character absolute law discussed in the lecture, the undeniable law of karmic cause and effect.
Karma.
Yes. While the graphics card itself is completely neutral, it doesn't just generate random images out of thin air.
Yep.
It is governed by a strict, unbreakable underlying algorithm.
An algorithm that follows rules.
Precisely. The mirror never actively punishes you, and it never actively rewards you. It simply and flawlessly executes the code it receives.
And where does that code come from?
Yes. Karma translates literally to action. Every single word you have spoken, every action you have taken, and crucially, every passing thought you've held onto in the past, well, That serves as a line of code that you actively typed on the keyboard.
Oh, wow. So I'm the one writing the bad code.
You are.
So if I'm at the grocery store and someone cuts in front of me in line and I feel a flash of anger, that flash is an input.
Yes, it is.
And if I sit in my car and stew on that anger for 3 hours, replaying the scenario in my head over and over, I have just written hundreds of lines of anger and resentment code into my own operating system.
Exactly. You're introducing bugs into your own system.
Ah,
Tomorrow, your graphics card has no choice but to render an environment primed for anger, because that is the code you fed it. It is the ultimate form of self-deception to spend your days, months, and years typing out disaster movie code and then yell at your monitor when a disaster movie starts playing on the screen.
okay, that stings a bit, but mechanically it makes perfect sense. And I think this leads directly to the next logical question.
Which is?
Well, if the rules are actually this transparent, if it really is just a matter of, type good code, get a good reality, why do ordinary people like us constantly struggle in the mud?
Right.
The text talks about sages and Buddhas who live freely with total clarity in the exact same universe we inhabit. What do they know about the code that we don't?
The material defines this difference as a difference in direct perception. It is all about what you actually see when you look at reality.
What do you more?
Well, when sages watch the movie of life, they see the underlying unchanging screen behind the dramatic, ever-changing movie. They perceive the hardware.
Ah, the screen itself.
Yeah, and because they see the screen, they never get scared by the monsters in the plot. They know it's just light hitting a surface. Ordinary beings, on the other hand, only see the monsters. We are so absorbed by the light that we have completely forgotten the screen even exists.
Benny in the source audio has a brilliant modern analogy for this. He says the Buddha is essentially a top-tier computer hacker.
Yes, or a master system administrator.
Exactly, a sysadmin. They have total, precise, root-level control over booting up and shutting down the machine. They know exactly how the operating system works, and they know how to navigate it without getting infected by the local files.
Right, a system administrator doesn't panic when an error message pops up. They recognize it as a line of code, they isolate it, and they delete it.
And what are we? I mean, we are a crashing, freezing, wheezing Office PC that is absolutely riddled with pop-up ads, malware, and fans spinning out of control, sounding like a jet engine.
That's a perfect image.
Right. When you feel overwhelmed by a terrible boss or a toxic environment, your first instinct is to blame external hackers. You want to say, the world did this to me. Society infected my computer.
But that's not what happened.
No. The uncomfortable truth is that you blindly clicked all the suspicious links in your past. You got a pop-up that said, get angry now, and you clicked download. You got an email that said, hold a grudge forever, and you installed the attachment.
We absolutely downloaded our own malware.
We did.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, while that is a heavy burden of responsibility, it is fundamentally a message of immense optimism.
Really? How so?
Think about the logic of the computer system.
Yeah.
If an external hacker broke into your machine, you are a victim, you are helpless.
Right.
But if you are the one who downloaded the viruses, it means you also hold the ultimate admin privileges.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
You have the root access required to boot the system into safe mode, run a scan, and clear them out. You hold the keys.
That is so empowering. But how does a mortal actually do that? I mean, how do we boot into safe mode in real life?
Booting into safe mode is the cognitive practice of creating a gap between stimulus and response.
A gap.
Right. When that pop-up ad appears in your mind, like the urge to snap at your partner or the urge to spiral into anxiety, you don't click it. You observe it.
Just watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You watch the pop-up appear on the screen, you recognize it as a temporary piece of code, and you let it expire and close on its own. Every time you observe a thought without reacting to it, you are deleting a piece of malware.
Okay, but if my screen right now is showing nothing but viruses and pain, a very logical part of my brain says I should just smash the monitor.
People try that.
Yeah, like if the movie is causing me stress, shouldn't I just unplug the power cord, run away to a deep forest, refuse to interact with society, cut off all my relationships, and just stare at a blank wall for the rest of my life to find peace?
That is a very common reaction to realizing the world is an illusion, but the text firmly warns against it. That is the trap of nihilism.
Nihilism?
Yeah, the source quotes a dense philosophical absolute. Apart from arising and ceasing, there is no non-arising.
Okay, we need to translate that into human psychology. What does that mean for someone dealing with daily anxiety?
It means that trying to feel absolutely nothing is a dead end. If you smash your computer with a hammer, you don't magically get a perfect, peaceful, smoothly running computer.
No, you just got a mess.
Right, you get a hunk of useless scrap metal. Running away from reality, numbing your emotions, or trying to dissociate from the world isn't awakening, it's just death. The goal isn't to destroy the hardware, it's to master it. A monitor that displays nothing is a broken monitor.
Staring at a blank wall isn't the answer.
Exactly. The source references the famous line from the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. The screen and the movie playing on it are fundamentally the same thing. You cannot separate them. You don't need to destroy your messy family life, quit your stressful job, or run away to the mountains.
Right.
You just need to realize that you are watching a movie. Awakening is feeling the grief, feeling the joy, interacting with the world, but knowing deep down that it is a projection. The moment you realize it's a movie, the monsters on the screen can no longer bite you.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because this leads us to the explosive finale from the source material. It delivers an ultimate hardware revelation stating Amitabha Buddha is my mind is Amitabha Buddha.
We should probably clarify who or what Amitabha Buddha is in this specific philosophical context.
Yeah, absolutely.
It translates literally to infinite light or infinite life. It isn't a deity sitting on a cloud somewhere.
Right.
The ultimate personification of that perfectly neutral, infinitely capable screen we've been talking about. It is the pure awareness that exists before the code is executed.
So, to put that in the context of everything we've been talking about, to say Amitabha Buddha is my mind means that the hardware running inside your head right now, yes, you, the listener, is exactly the same hardware as the Buddha's.
Exactly the same.
Your graphics card is identical. There is absolutely zero hardware difference between you and the ultimate sage. You don't need a firmware update. You don't need to buy a new computer. Your core consciousness is already infinite light.
And this redefines what people are actually searching for, right? People often talk about Reach, a mythical pure land, treating it like a paradise planet located millions of light years away that we have to somehow travel to after we die.
Like a destination.
Yeah, but this text argues the exact opposite. The Pure Land is this very mind. The only difference between a sage residing in the Pure Land and you sitting in rush hour traffic is that they took off the VR headset and you still have yours glued on.
The hardware is the same, the environment is the same.
The moment you change your code, the moment you stop inputting malware and start booting into safe mode, the Pure Land unfolds right exactly where you were sitting.
Let's take a step back and recap the mechanics of this journey. We started by discovering the VR headset we've glued to our faces, experiencing real physiological pain from pixelated monsters.
We did.
Then we scaled up to realize our mind is a neutral, infinitely powerful computing engine, a flawless monitor, and a tireless graphics card. We faced the uncomfortable reality of our karmic code, accepting that we are the ones typing the bugs into our own virus-ridden PCs.
The malware we downloaded ourselves.
Exactly. And finally, we realized we don't need to smash the computer because our hardware is already perfectly equipped with admin privileges, capable of running the Pure Land right here, right now.
It is a profound shift in perspective, moving away from a mindset that demands the external world change to accommodate us, toward a mindset that simply rewrites the internal code interpreting the world.
For that perspective shift, we have to sincerely thank the Australian Buddha Deeds Association, Benny, Master Ivy, and Notebook Alm. The 30 Sinian source material they provided was incredibly rich, taking a centuries-old contemplative text and proving its profound relevance as a cognitive tool for the modern mind.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, we want to leave you, the listener, with a final practical thought experiment directly stemming from the logic of this deep dive.
Oh, this is good.
Tomorrow morning, you are going to go to work.
Yeah.
When that one annoying coworker, the one who always manages to spike your blood pressure, walks into the office and approaches your desk, is what happens next just a multi-perspective server conflict?
Right.
Or, based on everything we've discussed today, did the two of you unknowingly co-write a mutually torturous piece of code in the past?
And if it is just code, if they're just rendering on your perfectly neutral screen based on past inputs, you have a choice to make. When you see them, are you going to click the pop-up ad and download more anger? Or are you going to observe it, let it expire, and type a brand new command line? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We invite you to take that question and that admin level power into your reality tomorrow.